What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of Topic of Discussion.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys joining us today. I'm your point man, KJ Wright, and joining me today
We got Ali the Guru.
And we got Michael Morgan.
and a very special guest is in the building today.
What's up? What's up? It's your boy Drew with H206 Events, and I'm also the Community Outreach and Membership Chair of the Seattle King County NAACP.
Welcome, Drew. Welcome.
Hey,
good? What's
Everybody
good?
know Drew, man.
I know, maybe you would feel like I got to redo my entry now.
Drew, where you from?
Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Been in Seattle for...
Too long. Came out here back in the 1900s, back in 95. Came to UW.
early 90s.
Mid-90s.
Mid-90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andy's.
Good.
Hey, man, I'm glad you joined us today, man, because
you.
we have the perfect topic for you.
I'm in. I'm ready. I'm
Today,
ready.
Today we're talking about racism in America.
Ooh.
This can get deep.
Oh, y'all done messed up, bro.
This can get deep.
Deep as we want it to be.
Stay tuned, people. Y'all need to hear this.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, so today is Juneteenth.
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 What's
A lot
Juneteenth?
of people don't know about Juneteenth. My cousin texted me today, and he's like, "Happy Juneteenth," and I was like, "I'm guilty. I didn't know what it was."
Yeah, I don't know what it is
So
either.
I was like, "Bro, what is Juneteenth?" So Juneteenth is the day that blacks officially got freed from slavery. The Emancipation happened by Abraham Lincoln. We all know that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, but word didn't get around until 2 years later.
In Texas.
It took about 2.5 years later for the Union. It was the Union Army led by General Gordon Granger.
Yeah.
When they got to Austin, Texas, and spread the word that the Emancipation Proclamation actually happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
during that period of time, slaves were still doing what they were told to do.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so, man, we all know that as blacks, we went through a lot. Still going through it to this day.
Yeah.
To this day.
To this day.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask y'all, how do y'all think that slavery is still affecting us to this day?
I mean, I'll go first. I'm the guest, right?
Yeah.
I just think it's a trickle down. I mean, slavery ended, but then came Jim Crow era.
Yep.
Followed by segregation and all that, followed by the redlining. If you guys don't know what redlining is, it made it the reason why you have MLK running through every hood in the city, but you never have a MLK neighborhood in the suburbs.
Yeah.
I mean, it made it impossible for black families to purchase property. You know, post-war with the GI Bill, they created these situations in these places. Bank loans, getting into college, it just keeps going and going, and it's still happening.
What do you mean by they? Like who's they?
They so to me, I have a different take on things. I think racism, when we talk about racism, it's institutionalized. It's an institution that's racism, right? When you talk about the person that used the N-word or whatever, I consider them to be bigots.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, people kind of throw the racism word over everything. And that's why you'll literally have like a white person that's like, I'm really not racist. I'm really not racist.
Yeah.
Because in their heart of hearts, they don't think they're racist. And they probably aren't. They're just bigots.
Yeah.
And then the third layer to me is bias. And we all have bias. We all in our little social groups, we crack jokes about people or have our biases of who we like, who we date or whatever. But we don't do it in a mean-hearted, like evil way. So those are, to me, the three different layers. So racism to me is the institution, which the laws that are put in play, the ones on the books, and then the unspoken rules that we all know happen.
So it's 2019, right?
Yeah.
How long have we technically been free? 150 years? Technically.
Yeah, on paper.
So why is it that racism is still alive today?
Ooh.
When it's been going, when we've been technically free for so long, why is racism still alive?
Hey, personally, I blame it on the media. I would heavily blame it on the media.
Yeah.
You know, if you really look at racism, I think racism comes at a little bit of a part of judgment, the ability to judge. You know, we kind of all are born to be able to have the ability to judge, right? So when we're watching TV or we're watching the media, we're watching all these rappers doing the things that they're doing, it makes a certain culture wants to be able to live that life too. So then you do certain things outside of what you would have naturally done.
Right.
And then it creates this perception. So
I agree.
nowadays you got people looking at African Americans, right? And they're just like, oh, you must know how to rap. Every single time I go to a party, every time someone tries to rap, it's, oh, you get him, get the black guy.
Drew, are you familiar, like, way back in the slavery times when the media would put out stuff about black people?
Yeah, being monkeys or being this or that.
monkeys.
So I agree with the media. I take it from the point of being a '90s kid, or being I'm a decade older than all y'all for the most part, right?
Yeah.
I grew up to images on TV of the Cosby Show, minus Bill Cosby, but A Different World, Family Matters. There was actual presence of positivity in black, like you could see
Black dads.
You could see
house.
black families interacting where it was a mom and dad and they were working. I mean, you take it back to the Jeffersons, you take it back to Good Times. Look at the current state of television. You take away the show Blackish, find one positive depiction of us on TV. It's all real hip hop wives and people fighting, or New York Tattoo Inc. or whatever.
Oh, 1000%.
And that's all. It is all media, because when a person in Montana that has never been exposed to a person of color or a black person, and all they know is what they see on TV, they will always assume the worst.
Exactly.
100%.
Hey, so let me ask you this then. Here's a good one.
Yo,
So these people who come off as racist, are they racist because of them naturally, or are they racist because of some other factor like the media? Is the media making them racist, or are they actually naturally racist themselves?
dude. So, and that's so.
You got it, Mike. You got it.
Go ahead, Mike.
Here,
Go,
let me-
Mike.
I
Go
think
ahead.
that as we're talking about media, I think that racism is a system, and we talk about media. Media is a part of that system. Who owns the media companies?
I mean, that's a good question.
White people.
White people own the media companies.
What about
So-
BT? Does white people own BT?
No,
White people do on
white
BET.
people actually
Do they own BT? Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
So whatever message they want people to believe is what they put out there.
What are you
'Cause-
saying they?
'cause
Who's they? Are you saying like specifically someone? Or are you saying like
I'm
the
talking
company?
about,
Or you're talking about like a certain race?
as we talk about racism, I'm talking about a system, like he said, it's as a system. It's not necessarily a color thing. It's more of system, higher ups versus who's going to be at the bottom.
I worked in outside sales in Seattle for over 15 years. Capital equipment sales, medical sales, things like that. I mean, simple story, walking through Bellevue in a suit with a briefcase. And little old white woman sees me coming, mind you, middle sunny day in a suit, just left an appointment. And she looked at me and did the purse crunch. And I looked at her and was like, I'm 6'2", 230. What you go? If I want to take your purse, you can't do nothing about it right now. That's really you can.
yeah.
But the fact that that's what her brain went to automatically, and there's so many little stories of that. I mean, that's just a quick story, but I have story upon story upon story.
Well, what about like? How do you know she doesn't do that with everybody? She's an old lady. How do you know she doesn't do that with everyone she comes across?
She don't.
We can play the how do I do?
Yeah, how do you know
But I'm pretty certain she doesn't, because again, it wasn't like it was just us two out there. That happened when I walked by. It didn't happen when she walked by the two ladies in front or whoever other people on the sidewalk. It was literally her making eye contact with me and going
Oh, hell.
while walking by. And so in my head, I've tried to, when you talk to coworkers about stuff and you try and be like, all right, maybe I'm trying to imagine things or whatever. But I've purposely, when I'm with friends that are not black, be like, you saw that, right? Just to make them see, and they'll be like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Because it happens all the time, and it's 2019.
Yeah.
It happens.
Ali, you're Muslim. And Muslims sometimes get a bad rap. What is it about Muslims that people are afraid of or don't like about Muslims?
Remember when we was on the airplane? I took a picture. I sent it to you guys.
Yeah.
Oh man, that lady treated me so different, and I think she was surprised that it was me. Actually, I'm gonna tell you guys what happened. So, flight attendant comes by and looks at me. She has a meal. She looks at me and then she keeps walking. She goes, "Oh, sorry, I think I got you mixed up with someone else." I think she was expecting to see a Middle Eastern guy with a turban on.
Yeah.
And then she comes back again. She has the meal back, and then she goes, "Oh, is your name Ali?" And I said, "Yeah, that's me." She goes, "Oh, I have your meal." And the meal says Muslim meal. I said, what?
Wow.
Said Muslim meal.
And I took a picture. I sent it to you guys. I was like, that's crazy.
Wow.
I was shocked.
I'm going to tell you, when I first came to Seattle, I didn't know anything about Muslims. The first time I got into a taxi it was a Arabian dude with the thing on his head. Immediately, I was like, oh hell. Where this man about to take me? I immediately got scared because I had no clue what Muslims were about.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the same with certain white people. When they get around black people, like, oh, hell.
You don't know.
Goes back to Ali's first statement. The only thing you knew about Muslims was what you saw on TV and you were fed to you. So again, you talk about the nature of where we at. If you want to talk about police, that's a whole nother scenario or what. Most of these people have never had real interaction with someone outside their race.
Yeah.
You grow up in the ethnic enclaves you're used to. So if you grew up in a black neighborhood, you grew up in that black neighborhood. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what you know. Funny story. My freshman year at UW, they put me in Terry Lander dorms because I was an East Coast kid and they didn't want me, like, there's like two sets of dorms on the other side of campus that are a little bit more mellow than the city where everybody's at. Co-ed dorms, you know, boy, girl, whatever. There was this girl, Amy, I won't say her last name. She was from Morton, Washington. Morton's a little town. She told me her high school had a graduating class of like 40 people. They had one black dude that was adopted. So he wasn't black. He was like black on a farm type thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Couple weeks of school go by. One day she comes and knocks on my door. Kid you not, little girl used to wear Birkenstocks and overalls every day. All right. Walks into my room and she's all like, do you have a second? Yeah, what's up? Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? And I was all like, okay, what's up? And she was like, no, I'm serious. She was like, you're like the first real black person I've ever talked to. I kid you not. At first, I wanted to, and it sits with me. This is over 20 years ago. Like, I remember it like it was yesterday because she sat down and the question she asked, she started off, she was like, why do they always say like black people like fried chicken? Because again, we laugh about this, but to her, growing up in a small farming community, that's all she ever knew. I was literally the first black. Her parents, after that conversation, her parents sent me gift packets all the time. Like when they sent her stuff, there always be a bag of cookies for me in it or whatever. Because I was literally the first person. I didn't kick her to the curb. I literally had a real conversation with her and talked to her. By the end of our freshman fall quarter, she's listening to Marvin Gaye and chilling. Really? Like it takes that simple. What we freshmen? So what? 18?
Really?
18?
Yeah.
So I mean, that really exists. For those of us that grew up in cities or grew up around things, we just take it for granted. You know what I mean? My parents tried to put me in a better high school, so I was forced to go to school with some white kids and learn how to act. And, you know, so when I got to college, I wasn't completely culture shocked. But you take some of these kids that grew up in these small little out there towns, and they're the one or two people that make it to college out of their town, and they go to a University of Washington.
Yes, culture shock. Yeah.
So, let's go back to this. Let's go back to black people, right?
Yeah.
And how we got dark-skinned blacks, light-skinned blacks.
Colorism.
Whose fault
back
is that?
to
Where does it come from?
Yeah. Slavery.
What is that? Where does that come from?
Slavery. And
oh, you know what? The field slaves,
the
and
field
house slaves,
field slaves, house
that.
slaves. So field slaves, you dark. House slaves, you in the house, which you closer, get better, closer to the house.
You're right.
If you look at Asian communities,
same way.
Porcelain skin means you're royalty or whatever. Dark skin means you're out in the rice fields or in the fields.
Yeah. And that's why you see a lot of Asian people. They always
walk around with the umbrellas or the
So is it fair to say that black people discriminate against their own race?
Absolutely.
And do we even realize that?
Yeah.
We know it.
Light skin jokes. I don't think a lot of people know it.
Light skins versus man. Search a meme right now. You got Prince. You got all the Prince memes.
This is why I don't think a lot of people know it, because if you look culturally in groups, right? Statistically, Asian people tend to look after other Asian people more, right? And then I think it goes like Mexicans, Caucasians, and then blacks. They say that blacks are the least likely to support other black people's businesses.
Yeah.
I think that if more African American people knew that, or more black people knew that, they would be okay. They would say, oh, okay, maybe I should think about this when I come into the store. I should probably,
buy something black owned.
Yeah. Think of something like, okay, well, why am I buying from this person? Like, why am I dodging this black guy? Like, is it because I'm...
Well, there's so many layers to that. Like, there's so many...
Well, why is that?
Redlining, back to who was allowed to have stores in those areas, and doing things. But when it comes to colorism, I mean, I remember vividly girls talking, I don't like dark skinned dudes. I like light skinned dudes. Like I've had sisters say that to me. I've had Asian girls. I've had they like, I like light skinned dudes, and I'm like, do you then, boo?
Have you heard black guys say, I don't like black women.
Yes.
All the time.
all the time.
We in Seattle,
Disgusting.
bro.
All the
We in
time.
Seattle,
Why?
bro.
I hate to bring it back to it, but it is media. Like when I watch TV, when I watch my movies, who's considered the princess or
The pretty girl.
The pretty
yep.
girl.
That is
It's-
all. It's all learned behavior.
It's all the either the white girl or the light skinned woman.
That is true.
Most of the roles that the darker skinned women are playing is not that.
Yeah.
They are
It's
below. They are not
Yeah,
the
not good
ones
enough.
that everybody looks to.
there was a study that they did, and it was kids. I saw it. It came across my Facebook feed where it was a bunch of little girls that were like maybe 3 to 5 years old.
Yeah.
And there was a white doll, a mixed doll, dark doll, and they'd be like, "Which doll is pretty? Which
Yeah,
doll
yeah,
is
yeah, I
which
saw
doll
that.
is
I saw
mean?
that.
Which one?" And it all went to sight. All they know is what you see on TV. If you look at Disney, right, every bad character is black with dark features and a villain, right? Every princess is white with blonde hair or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's learned behavior for a kid from Jump Street to like dark.
Yeah.
Black is bad, white is right. And you even had, and it broke my heart, you had the little black girl that like, which they asked her a simple question. Which doll is like the pretty doll? And she's picking the white doll. And which doll is the ugly doll? And so as parents, I have my daughter's mixed race, but you have to teach. It's my job to teach her about X, Y, and Z. Me learning about American Black history, I had to learn. My parents came here from Haiti. I'm first generation born, so I was not taught about Martin Luther King and all that. I had to self-educate or stuff you pick up in elementary school and do your own research.
So when it comes to interracial dating, mixing races, what y'all think about that?
I think
A black man with a white woman, white man with a black.
If you love who you love, you can play all the games at the end of the day. I think once you're with that person, if you choose to abandon who you are and your history, then that's where it's lost.
So if you have kids, right? Do you want your kids to bring home someone with a certain look?
Like a different color?
Because me personally, I would like if my daughter brought someone that looks like me.
Someone black? You just say it.
Someone black.
Yeah, just
Someone
say it.
black.
Yeah.
Because if she brings home a white boy, I'm going to be like, hey, how you doing, buddy? When she bring home her brother, I'm going to be like, what's up, man? Come in. Is that wrong of me to want?
Well, why is that?
Why? Yeah, that's my question. My
Why
question.
do
Do you want your daughter happy or do you want your
Oh,
daughter?
No, I ain't. No,
I mean, I'm not saying the brother go treat her bad, but I'm just saying, what's more important, your daughter's happiness or?
I want my daughter to be completely happy.
You just got to preference.
However, I would like it
however-
if she brought someone
You got a preference. That's it.
I could be here with.
Yeah.
Because we all know that if she brought home a Japanese kid, it's gonna be some cultural differences between us.
True.
And when you come over for Thanksgiving, I may have to cater to
And adapt.
Whatever.
And
versus
I got to,
making dressing and whatever.
I got to put in more effort to get along
Yeah,
with
he won't
you.
even know what dressing is.
Let's talk about the color, though. You got two great people.
Yep.
You just got a preference. You're getting to pick your own kind. Personally, I think it's a little bit racist. It's a little bit.
It's far from racist.
Is it racist?
It's biased.
I don't think.
But
I don't
again,
think
that's
not
where I go to
racist.
my three. That's where I go to my 3 levels. It's not racism. It's not bigoted because he's not doing anything bad. That's his bias. His
Yeah.
bias.
Okay, but if
is
you got
or
this-
preference.
Or would it be?
I know, but
Or
you
would
got
it be
this-
prejudice?
Huh?
Is that prejudice? then?
Prejudice. Yeah,
prejudice. Yeah.
prejudice.
Okay, but
Yeah,
if this
yeah.
guy comes in here and he's a different color than you and you're treating him differently, that's not racist?
I won't treat them differently.
He's treating them negatively. If you're treating him negatively and like making him go sit in the corner by himself, yes.
Yeah.
If he's still accepting him but has a preference for his daughter,
To
baby,
date her, yeah.
I want this for you. Doesn't mean his daughter has to listen. But my thing is that might cause a rift between you and your daughter. If you have this expectation for your daughter and she comes against that expectation.
I would never frown upon her. I wouldn't even let her know, but in my mind, I'd be like,
Okay, well, if you're keeping it
Oh,
to
yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
if you're keeping
I'll
it
tell
to
my
yourself,
wife, like, man, why can't she bring home somebody like me?
Hey, come on, man. But I mean, and so that's the thing. Like you'll see where parents go too far. Like, and they have those
Being
movies.
disrespectful.
You had to be disrespectful. Why you bring this girl? That's a whole nother level than having everyone has a preference.
Hey,
I
KJ,
guess.
would
Yeah,
it
well, I
be
guess
would
so.
it be different if she brought home someone Colombian? Would that be different?
That'll be better.
That'd be better. Would it be as good as bringing home someone black?
No, black is I'll be cool.
That'd be the best,
So
right?
Yeah.
light skin black or dark skin black?
Oh, it don't
Black
matter.
is
Oh, it
just
don't
black
matter.
is
It don't
black. Yeah,
matter.
black is black.
People got preferences.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that.
people do have preferences.
But
That's what I'm saying. If we're
it's
talking
something
preferences,
yeah, people on a certain race that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
It's certain things that as black people it's understood.
Yeah. Let's go back to the interracial dating thing. I think my biggest issue with, I'm not saying I'm against interracial dating at all.
Mm-hmm.
I have an issue with specifically black people that say they won't date black women or vice versa. That's that colorism thing. Like,
yeah. No, that's just straight hate. That's a step further.
like,
That's
why
hate.
won't you? What's your issue? Especially if your mama's black. Why won't you date black women?
We need to find one of them people and ask them that. That should be
hey,
a
what
walk
about-
the street segment.
Hey, what about this?
100%.
Hey, what about this? What if they didn't say that? They just don't date black people. They just never thought about it.
Most of them say it.
Yeah,
The ones that say it, say it.
Most of them
guys
say it.
They don't
Oh,
say
no.
that they don't.
I've known guys that say, "Oh no, I don't date black girls. Specifically, I don't date blackies."
Well, you know what, Mike?
Ooh.
It's white girls out there like that too. It's white girls that only have a preference
For black dudes.
For black dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see anything wrong with that?
Yeah.
There's some white girls that only be like,
that is
I
true,
like
yeah.
black men.
Yeah, but my rule is that if you have this whole spectrum and you just nip it and be like, I only like this or whatever, your probability of finding happiness is just shrunk exponentially.
100%.
So be like, find what you want and then be happy.
What if it's just their preference?
Check
It's
this
like,
out.
it's like buying, it's like
Check this
buying
out.
clothes. You just like the red shirt. You just like red shirts.
You're limiting yourself. Every girl I know that say they only date black men,
single.
they single. They single.
That ain't true.
Yo, telling you.
No. Or they got a couple baby daddies.
That ain't true.
They
Like this.
That ain't true. That can't be true.
Yo,
about that one.
I'm telling you, like, I just think whatever you want to call it, Murphy's Law, whatever law is out there. I ain't take all them extra classes. I graduated in 4. I wasn't sticking around for the masters.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you just, I feel like that's that karma. When people say, I only do this, like, the good Lord works in mysterious ways. He might throw somebody in front of you, and then you just go be mad at life, even though you like them. But you got to stand firm on your laurels, and so just live life. When it comes to that, live life.
So if I say right now, I'm only dating black women from this point on.
That's a preference.
You think that there's an issue with that?
Do I think there's an issue with that?
Yeah.
It's your life to live. Now,
Well,
if somebody runs into you in 4 years and your girl ain't black, they might
you limiting
reference
yourself.
this. And
You say what'd you say?
You're limiting yourself.
I think it's a preference, bro. It's a preference. I mean, you live your own life. It's his preference.
I also think it's where you live.
Okay, and also
it is
he's
part of
not-
where you live.
Hey, also, you're not really limiting yourself, because what happens if you end up dating an Asian girl because of what Drew said? You're limiting yourself, and you find out, oh shoot, I really don't like Asian girls. Then you just a waste of time.
But that's
a waste of
what
time,
type of
yeah.
Asian though. We can't lump
It
them all
don't.
together.
Yeah, Vietnamese girl or something, right?
Yeah.
But you just got a preference. I think people got a preference. It's all right. You can't really get mad at people because they got a
Well,
preference.
I get mad at black because I really do get mad at black
But
people.
what are you gonna do? You're gonna force it on
I'm not
them?
gonna force anybody, but
It's a
that's
deeper issue with them.
that self-hate stuff
That's
that has been
self-hate.
that's the self-hate stuff that's been taught through media.
But Mike,
Like,
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna sit here and have this lecture with this guy or this girl and say, "Hey,
I think you need
Yes.
to dig deep.
Yes.
You need to dig deep.
Yes,
Like, bro,
there's
how are you
something-
gonna tell?
there's
How are you
something-
gonna?
there's
How are you
something
gonna tell
behind it,
someone?
Ali.
I know, but how are you gonna sit here
There's-
and just okay? I'm gonna try to convince
there's
you to
something behind
change
it,
your
bro.
life
No,
and
it's
live
not
your life
convincing.
differently.
I'm not trying
Like,
to change your
It's
life.
not convincing
Change
you.
your life.
It's coming to the get them the answer why they got to that point.
I think it's because you want them to think how you think.
No, not at all.
No,
Not at all.
no.
If I want a better understanding of why you think that way, ask why, and then ask why again, and then ask why again. Because
you
if they
get to the root of it.
if they really can't answer why, if it's just I just like white girls, but why?
So let me ask you this: why do you want to know? Like, what is it to you
Because,
that's gonna help
Ali,
you figure
Ali,
out
if
why
if
this
I feel
person just only likes one
if
race?
I feel like there's something internally that you're fighting,
yeah.
me as
Deep
your friend,
inside, yeah.
I want to help you get to the root of your
Okay,
issue.
say it's not a friend. Say it's not a friend.
Then I don't care.
I don't give a
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
that's
someone
their
just-
business. Throughout history, white people are conquerors. Or what would they call them in Wakanda? Or they were the what was the term they used? They're the
What white people were?
yeah, they had a term.
Colonizer.
Colonizers.
Yeah, yeah,
colonizers.
yeah.
So throughout,
Colonizer.
I mean, you go to different countries in Africa, right? You got people speaking French, and They ain't bring it to themselves. People colonized them and brought them that culture. So when it comes to black culture in America, right, I remember BBS rims back in the 80s, right? If you had a car with BBS rims and tinted windows, you were a drug dealer, right? Then it became the norm. If in the early 2000s, if you had a truck with 20, I remember when 20-inch rims hit in like 99, 2000, and people had 20s with spinners on it. Ooh, now you got Escalades that come standard with 22-inch rims and a sound system and da-da-da-da-da. Anything we've done in this country, they've be like, oh, that's cool. We want that now.
Want to take over,
right? The N-word is something that they still, like, we can use in a hip-hop song and do whatever, but they can't, and it vexes some people because they are used to getting what they want. They get what they want.
Hold on. Hold on. So I like that you brought that up. Do you think that is a black people thing that someone else is taking over, or do you think that it's just an influence? I'm talking about like the rims and the speakers in the car and the.
We create culture.
Don't get started on that.
Is it culture though, or is it influence? Because
it's culture. It's black culture.
Way of life.
I know, but just because someone else does it doesn't mean that they're trying to take over. It's just because you influence them. It looks cool.
Here, hold on. Can I say something? Think about this one right here. Braids. But in media, if a black woman tried to go on TV with braids, cornrows, oh my gosh, what is she wearing? This is ridiculous. Ratchet, whatever you want to call it. Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian wear. Oh, she's such a trendsetter. That's culture. That's
okay, but just because Kim Kardashian, Khloe comes on with some braids, they probably thought it was cool, and they didn't have to do it. They didn't have to come on the show with some braids. They did it because they thought it was cool.
But think about
not because they're trying to take over.
But think about
they're not trying to take over like braids. But you know what I mean? That don't even make no sense.
For it, though.
They just think it's cool.
No,
like
but listen,
it's an influence.
When you have a history of taking over people's cultural
everything that we do.
But
everything.
That's where it always goes. Though it always goes to you guys are always trying to take over what we're trying to do.
Well, that's true.
What makes it so special that you're the only person that gets to do it, Mike?
But if we create,
you're the only one in this world that gets to do this.
I'm not saying we only ones can do it, but don't try to take whatever we have left,
Mike.
Whatever we have left, you're gonna try to take that too.
I know, but someone trying to take over is saying, "I'm gonna take over." Because you can't do it.
So, but when I do it, it's ratchet as ghetto. And when I do it, it's ratchet as ghetto. When they do it, it's fucking trend setting. That's bullshit.
Okay, they're not though. So there's an old African proverb, and it says it's kind of has to say, until the lion learns how to write. Or speak, the story will always glorify the hunter.
Okay, so
and that's America. Yeah. So the hunter is America. They get to dictate the story, and until we have a voice, until we're able to tell our own story. Like 5 years ago, the movie Hidden Figures came out. You ever watch that?
No.
All right. Did you know that all the math to get rockets into outer space for NASA when we did the whole moon landing and all that?
Actually, you know what? I have watched that.
Yeah. That was all done by black women. Did you know that NASA had a whole team of black mathematicians? I didn't until that movie came out.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
There's so much about, unfortunately, America is so segregated that we have to have a Black History Month just to celebrate, achievements. A freezer. You have a freezer in your house? Think a black guy.
Light bulb.
The light bulb. Well, the wrench. You know why they call it a monkey wrench? Because a black dude made it. That's why it was called a monkey wrench.
The potato chip.
Yeah. So it goes on and on and on and on. Asphalt. Yeah. Like there's so many cool inventions that are everyday inventions and additions to this world, right? That black people won't ever get credit for.
Okay. So Ali, what are you saying? How do you think we should feel? How do you think black people should feel when something that we do gets no credit or no recognition? You think we should just not care?
I think what happens is there's so much drama and there's so much animosity towards each other because we care too much. Mm-hmm. Like if you dig down to the root reason why do you feel that way, and then fix it and say, you know what? Okay, hey, I'm gonna give credit to you. Can I say this now? Would you feel better about yourself?
Yeah.
No, I don't think people would. I feel like people just they want to argue about something. They want to feel some sort of way about something.
So Ali, ever since black people stepped foot in the United States, it has been hell.
Oh yeah,
hell for us. From slavery to the civil rights movement to Black Lives Matter,
war on drugs,
3 strike laws. It's been hell for us, Ali. And so we just want to feel just normal.
I know.
And
the
if
focus is off, though. The focus is off. I mean, we're focused on the
this
small
thing,
stuff.
I don't think white people understand how we feel. I don't think Asians understand how we feel.
And nobody,
No one-
no other person
yeah.
on this
continent can.
Unless you're black. Yeah, because I never been.
Unless you are a black person.
And
Yeah, I've never been black
And
before.
you know where the disconnect is? No one even cares. I don't believe that. I don't believe that white people. I think they care, but they don't care enough to sit down and have a conversation with me to understand why I feel the way I feel.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with me versus be like, "Oh, KJ's so angry. Why does he feel that way?" Talk to me.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
So I can tell you, and so you can tell your white buddies how I feel, and so they can just spread the message, and we can all get on the same page.
You know how those conversations usually go? When you have those conversations, like, let me tell you how I feel. Usually it's like, this is what you guys do. This is what you guys do.
But
You know,
yeah.
usually
Yeah.
that's how it goes. And there's never like a solution to it. I think that the main focal point is, okay, why do I feel this way? What's happening? And what can we do to fix it? You know,
Right.
my
it
thing
never
is this.
goes that way.
So,
Right.
so most people defend their core beliefs with it's the part of the brain. So like, you know, if I throw a ball at you, your hands automatically go up,
yeah,
right?
you're defensive.
So yeah, your defense. So it's automatic. So if I attack your core beliefs, that's why
you get defensive.
you get defensive.
Yeah.
So that's why if we talk about that dude in 1600 Pennsylvania, we can hit people with facts and they will still stand by because we've
defend it.
attacked their belief system.
Yeah.
When it comes to racism, people who are inadvertently racist or have racist beliefs or biased beliefs or whatever, if you call them racist, all of a sudden this goes up or
get
whatever.
defensive, yeah.
So now to touch back on what you just spoke about, like why we're focusing on the little stuff. You're right. To you, not being black or experiencing it's a little thing. But if you take a bunch of little things, they add up to a big thing. So we're talking just about recognition on a dance, but we're talking lack of recognition on educational beliefs, the lack of education or lack of recognition. I spent 4 years on scholarship in
books.
college having to prove myself. I was a good student,
Yeah.
right? But all I got was, you're only here because of affirmative action. You're only here because of this. You're only here because of that. Yeah. There's always literally the token black guy on the sales team. You got to prove yourself. You know what I mean? I'm always in a position where I feel I got to do this much better. You won't find when in this day and age when we celebrate first, Obamas and this and that, first black person, you can't find one minority that's a first that was a mediocre at anything. I can walk through Wall Street in corporate America and find you B and C and D students whose daddies gave them handouts. I mean, you can look at the Trumps. To be a minority or a black person in this country and be a Harvard grad, they had to be the best of the best of the best. And then they'll look and be like, look, that one guy did it. Why can't you guys do it?
So if one guy make it,
I mean, that's literally the standard set for us.
Yeah.
You have to be the absolute best at all times. And if you F
and
up
you can't
once,
mess up one
you're
time.
done.
You can't mess up one
Whereas
time.
those rules and regulations do not apply to anyone else. You have the kid right now.
The kid that
wrote
raped
the kid from Harvard. He got his Harvard letter rescinded. He's from the school that got shot up in Florida. This just happened a week ago. I can't think of the school that got shot up in Florida. All the kids started, protesting and being gun right activists. Well, one of the kids got accepted into Harvard. Then a tweet or an email he sent when he was 16 came out where he goes on this whole nigga, fuck you, da-da-da-da-da rant and keeps going and going. So they sent him a letter and rescinded. All of a sudden, this kid is now on Fox News. Saw it today. Well, I don't think the actions of me at 16 should reflect who I am now and this and that. And you have people literally saying like, Harvard is doing this kid wrong. He was just a kid. And my reaction is, that's crazy. He's just a kid. He was 16. We have black kids that are doing life in prison of something they did when they were 14. Yeah. We have kids that were 14 or 15 years old that got executed in this country. We have kids right now doing life in prison for shit they did when they were 12, 13, or 14, tried as adults. Yeah. So why are these little black kids not kids? But when he does this, he's a kid. When Brock Turner, the dude from Stanford that rapes a girl, gets caught by two dudes raping her, gets 3 months suspended, and doesn't have to register as a sex offender because it'll ruin his life in the future because he was just a kid. I mean, this is the little things that add up to us taking little things and blowing it out of proportion.
Well, the same thing. Think about the marijuana issue.
Oh, geez.
Black people selling weed, third time offense, you go to jail, locked up for the rest of your life. Now what are they doing?
You got Boehner.
I got weed shops all around me, and they benefiting off of it.
Yeah.
Another example.
The war on drugs, right? When it was poor black people, right? Obama. And what did Obama do for black people? When you had, I think it was like 5 grams. I don't know the grammage because I don't do crack, whatever. There was, I don't do any of that shit. But the same amount, crack and cocaine are the same shit. One's in a raw, dirty form, and one's more purified, right? So rich people,
who does the rich?
right?
Who does? Yeah.
So the jailing offenses for the poor shit was like 4 to 5 times more harsher than the rich people stuff. So a person like what's that one? Paris Hilton to get caught with
some cocaine,
and then it was like, or Lohan, whatever that, Lindsay Lohan, and it was like, oh, you get probation, or or you have to go to rehab. Black person get caught with the same amount, automatic 5 years. Boom, that was the rule. Obama changed that. Right? Trump came back, changed that shit back again.
Yeah.
That's something he did for black people.
No,
same thing with the opioid situation.
Yeah. So opioids, same thing. Opioids, when it was in the hood, you go into jail. Now that it's in the suburbs,
it's a major issue.
Yo,
oh
we
my
can't
gosh,
lock
little
them
Johnny,
up. Let's give
little
safe
Johnny's,
injection sites.
Let's have programs for this.
Again, it's the same drug. It didn't change shit. Only thing that changed is what side of the tracks is on. So America has always been racist. America has always had 2 sets of rules: one for white people, one for black people. Right? It's always been that way. We can talk about how do we change that. Reality, it would take, at the most extreme, our entire Senate, House, judiciary to all be black to make that happen, which will never happen. So this country will never get to that point. We have taken big strides from the 60s to now, and we can try and take another leap forward to another, 20, 30 years. But not sitting on our ass and not doing anything ain't gonna get us there, because that's literally what, my parents passed on to me.
Yeah. So y'all know how, as black people, we say the N-word, right?
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
And how other races and cultures be like, oh, you can say it. Why can't I say it? Do y'all think everybody should be able to say it?
Yes.
Why? What do you say?
I think if it exists,
Hell no.
What do you say?
I think if the word shall exist in modern day, then it should be used by everybody.
Everybody.
All I'm gonna say is, you say it in front of the wrong person,
Get your ass beat
you
up,
gonna
Ali.
get lit up.
So a white person.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Th-
Why
that's
is
not
it,
a problem.
Why is
No
it that
problem.
you?
You've been forewarned.
So let me ask you.
Why can you
Let me
say
ask
it?
you, should we be saying it to one another?
I've tried real hard to be better about saying it over the years, just because I have a daughter and I like trying to set that example. But it's one of those things. Should we be saying it? Probably not. Do we? Yeah, it's part of the culture, especially if you're in hip hop or like listening to music. But we all can agree we don't use that shit when we in a business meeting or around. You know what I mean? When we're around money, we ain't using it. So
then why should you use it at all? If you're around business meeting or if you're around money or in a professional atmosphere and you don't use it, why should you use it outside of those atmospheres?
Same reason you cuss when you're outside of your business.
And I try not to.
But you do.
But you do.
But I try not to. I cuss very, very little. The only time I do is like when I'm very, very upset and I can't really control my emotions or my mind and it slips. But what I see though is it's a different factor when certain people use it. When some people use it, it'll just be a casual conversation. I'm just hanging out.
When you say certain people, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about African American people.
Okay, say it.
Yeah, or even just other people, white people, Asian people, Mexican people. They'll drop the word and they're not thinking about it. They're just saying it.
But my thing, it's not their word to say. It's
What's their word? Because it was invented by white people. White people said it.
White people created that word to demean and denigrate a class of people, and that was us.
How is it?
We took that negative. We tried to take that negative and turn it into a positive. It's not always positive, but we use it. Okay. But because it was a derogatory word for us, I feel we have the right to use it. If another minority group uses that word, it will be taken the same way a slave master said it, and that person runs the risk of getting them hands.
Why is that though?
Those are the rules.
The way it is.
That's just the way it is.
Why?
Period. Yo,
that's
asking why.
That's just the way it
I'm
is.
just telling you,
Until
it is.
one of us
That's
gives up.
American history. I'm giving you American history.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
And it is what it is. That's what it is.
I understand that part. So let me ask you this then. Why is it that when someone, or say a white person, says the N-word in a regular environment like this, well, hold on. it's not okay. But then if they're at a concert and their favorite rappers rap and they're rapping along with the song and everybody says it,
Nah, that's
No,
not cool.
no, they
Nobody
shouldn't be
says
doing
anything.
that at the concert.
I've seen
Don't say
rappers
anything.
stop
Yeah.
the music and be like, "Y'all better not say that word."
Oh, Kendrick did that.
Yo,
Kendrick
did that
did
shit.
that. He put a girl on
dead
stage.
ass. So, perfect example: derogatory terms that were used for Jews during the Nazis, right? Black people don't use them, and if they do, they get rang through the like. You're anti-Semitic. You're this. Why is it that the N-word is the only word that people still fight to use, but any word that was used during the Nazi war and all that stuff to describe Jews are off limits? Jews don't even Jews, and if a Jew wants to use it, it's cool, but it's theirs to use, and people understand that. Why can't they understand that about the N-word?
I think it's because
we black.
No, I think it's because the N-word is used around so many places and so many influential people use it that kids growing up, they learn it from watching their hero.
But
watching
those
their favorite
kids that are using that word in a derogatory way know that when you see a kid at Issaquah High School,
I don't think they do, though.
You know what?
Oh, it's bad.
Again,
I don't think they do either.
I don't think they do.
I think my daughter's smart as shit. She's 15 years old. All right, she knows the difference between right and wrong. At 16 years old, we give these kids cars and allow them to drive. They can pass a test. We give them a 2-ton vehicle to drive around and be free and do whatever, right? Mm-hmm. We keep selling these kids short, like, oh, I don't think they do. Like I said before, you got 16-year-olds and 15-year-olds doing life in prison because of shit they did from a state. So I think a kid in this day and age, with as much shit they have on social media and examples of what not to do, don't know that's not okay to do. That's a cop-out.
I think they know it's okay not to do, but I don't think they're using it in the same context that an old white man would be using it.
Dude, I'm talking about
limits, bro.
It's off limits.
I know it's off limits, but what Ali said, y'all gotta listen. I don't think y'all listening to what he's saying.
I heard what he's saying.
I don't think y'all listen to what he's saying. Ali said.
But he's saying why though? He's asking why.
Ali didn't say that. He said they're not using it in a racist manner.
Yeah, they're not.
That's what
I
he's
see
saying.
white people use the N-word with other white people when no black people are around.
Give an example.
Like when white people hang out with each other.
Yeah.
They'd
be
what
like,
kind
"What's
of
up?"
example?
They'd be like, "What's up,
What
nigga?"
kind of example you want? That is an
They
example.
say, "What's up, N-word?"
I think.
Oh hell no, that's out.
But you listen to listen.
Yeah, you're not listening, bro.
He's saying that they're not saying it
They
in
don't
a.
mean anything about it. They don't mean anything.
He's saying they're not
racist,
saying it in a racist.
They're not saying it in a racist way.
It's a slang. It's a slang. That's what
But
he's saying.
I don't care.
They're not the affected minority group, right? That word has nothing to do with them whatsoever. So
we can agree to that.
Yeah. So they should not use it. It's that simple. It has nothing to do with you, so you should not use it.
I appreciate the talk, man. That was good insight, good views, great views, and we all know that racism is still alive today.
Mm-hmm. They just be concealing it.
Not really.
It can be
Sometimes.
Get your phone, dog.
This country
fully charged at all times.
has improved, and it can be way better. Black people, we gotta personally do better.
Yep. How we do better?
White people, y'all gotta do better.
Get involved, bro.
We can all be better. Drew, man, appreciate your time, man.
Thank you, Drew.
We enjoyed it.
That was big.
Thank y'all for watching. Make sure y'all like, subscribe.
Leave a comment.
We'll see y'all next time. Topic of discussion. Appreciate it.
Peace.
Holla.